Is that kind of what we do at Topgolf a little bit?
Yeah.
Good, good. All right, big guy. Let me kind of give you a little visual of what your swing looks like here a little bit, and let me kind of describe to you some of the changes that are going to go through here a little bit. Real quick, go ahead and get into your setup real quick, and I just want to kind of see your grip here real quick and see how you're doing on that. Kind of more like a 10-finger baseball grip, kind of.
Someone just said to put like, this is like piggy in a blanket, I think, or something like that. So I just like did that. I don't know. That's what I did.
Oh, that's funny. I wonder who, because that's my saying. So, and we've never worked together, so I think that's hilarious that that's come along. Very good. All right. So as I said, let me kind of show you your swing here a little bit. Okay. Have you ever seen your swing on video?
No.
All right. So a few things that we're going to change up here just a little bit. Okay. With a 7-iron, we don't need that big of a stance. Okay. We probably might need that for a driver stance, but we'll kind of see as we go through. Okay. Now, one thing I kind of see here just a little bit as we come through here, you see this right foot here, it's still kind of glued to the ground a little bit. Okay. So when I move through, okay, when people move through, watch my right knee. See how I come up on my toe right there? Okay, that's going to allow my hips to rotate and turn out of the way. If I keep that foot there, then I'm kind of falling back a little bit, and I'm trying to get the club through a little bit, right? And you probably feel a little bit of some pinch back here in the back a little bit. Not the most comfortable feeling, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, good. Now, let's check down the line here. Okay. Once again, your stance is kind of hurting you a little bit. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Okay. So we're going to start working on some better positions, but first things first is that we're going to talk about our grip. Okay. So I think this will make a little bit more sense when I get it done for you about the piggy in a blanket. Who'd you hear that from anyway?
Just read some friend that knew played golf.
Okay. That's really random because I've never actually heard anybody else say that other than me. So I think that's great. So I'm going to kind of walk you through here on the grip here, and I've got a little special glove here a little bit to kind of give you some visuals, okay? All right, so when we talk about the grip, okay, we're going to take the club and we're going to put it diagonally in our fingers right here, okay? See how that red spot goes just like that? Okay, so we're going to get that right there, okay? Now what we kind of do is what I used to say, shoot the gun, okay? I take my right hand, put that in there, and now I'm also going to put this diagonally along this side of the fingers too. Does that make sense? Okay. Now, here it comes the big thing. Here's the piggy, here's the blanket. Wrap the piggy in a blanket. Okay. So the big thing for you is to get that interlocking grip right here. Okay. That's going to make it one unit right here instead of having two where my hands can kind of move simultaneously. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's kind of go through here together with you. Okay. Take that guy off. Okay. So we're going to stand here next to each other here. Stand here right next to the partner. Okay. So let's take the club, take our left hand, put it right here. We're going to place it diagonally in our hands. So it's going to go just like this. There you go. Okay. Now let's close our fingers around it. Good. Now the thumb's going to be on the side. Okay. So watch me. Okay. So the thumb is going to be over here. So you see where your logo is?
Yeah.
You see how it's on the right-hand side of your thing? Okay, that's going to be important. So when we get up to the top, my thumb can brace that stress right there. Okay. So as we go, once again, I'm going to take it. I'm going to shoot the gun. Just my left hand. Take your right hand off. There we go. We're going to take our right hand now. We're going to interlock right here. Okay. Right along the finger line, just like we did on the other side. Good. Piggy, blanket. Wrap that piggy in a blanket. Okay. Now this thumb. Here. Okay, so ideally, okay, so watch what I kind of do here, and I'll kind of get some tees here so you can kind of see. All right, so as I kind of go and I put my grip in here, you can see that my forefinger and thumb here have made this little V, right? So you can see that my V's kind of line up just a little bit, right? This V's kind of pointing more towards my right shoulder, and this V's pointing towards my chin a little bit, okay? So sometimes when you practice a little bit, that might kind of help you with the visual a little that make sense?
Okay.
All right, so with that being said, let's have you take the grip. I'm going to kind of work with you and make sure you're good. Okay, so set up. Let's take your hands off. Start all over. We're going to do this quite a bit. Okay, so here we go. There. Okay, and remember, here's a little word, food for thought. Right, this pad goes over top of the club.
Okay.
Okay, that's going to give you more control with it. There you go. Bring this guy on in. Very good. All right, very good. How does that feel for you? Is that different?
Yeah.
Okay, good. That's good. That's good. Okay, so now that we've got an idea about our grip, okay, we've got to straighten it up correctly. Here we go. Let me get this piece of wood. Okay. So I'm going to put this down. So how you're going to practice, okay? So go ahead and put this thing on here like this. See how that's square? Okay. Now you want to take your grip around that. Does that make sense? Okay. So when you're at home practicing, and I want you to do this quite a bit because this is important. This is the only thing that connects you to the ball through the shaft, right? Is our grip. Okay. So it's pretty important that we get that right to begin with. Okay. But what we want to kind of do is just find an edge, something like this. Okay. And kind of work on getting that square and then taking our grip. Okay. We all have a tendency, if we don't have that straight edge, to kind of get the club like this or like that. And then we start to get a feel for where that weight is, and then we want to keep it in that same spot. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Muscle memory, right?
Mm-hmm.
Good. Okay, let's do it again. So put your club up there square for me, partner. Good job. Okay. Now, what I'm going to have you do is I want you to take your hands off and re-grip it for me. Okay, how do you do that? Thumb on the side. Very good. 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 Bring this guy in. Good. Okay. Right. Now the big thing is now that you've got a good grip, no, you got to keep that face. Right. So that's part of it. Right. There's 1 and 2. Right. There's a lot going on there, but it's just the beginnings. Right. Okay. Good. So once again, let's do that again. Very good. See?
Yeah, I keep it.
Right? It takes a little time, right? It takes a little time. So here we go. This guy's going to be on top. There you go. Just like that. Okay. Good. Very good. Okay? It's all right. You're going to get there. Okay. Back up just a little bit. Give yourself a little space. There you go. Good. Okay, good. Much better. We're getting there. Okay, it's not as bad, right? Okay.
Just feels awkward right now.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So here's another way that you can kind of work on your grip and your face. Okay. So if you take your grip, right, and then I point it straight out towards you, this leading edge should be straight up and down. Okay. So let's try that instead. Maybe that gives you a better visual. Okay. Good. Good. Okay. So you've got a straight edge there. Okay. So we're going to leave it right there. Okay. And then you're just going to place it down on the ground. Got me?
Okay.
All right. Down on the ground. Much better, right?
Yeah.
So that might be a better way for you to practice right now, visually, out in front of you, and then work down here at the bottom a little bit. Okay. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right. Any questions right now? Okay. So let's do that again. Okay. So let's stand here next to each other once again. All right, so we're going to take our left hand. We're going to place it right here, base of the pinky, to the top knuckle of that index finger. Hold it right there in the fingers. Okay. And then what we're going to do is we're going to shoot the gun. Take our right hand, interlock. Okay. Now what we're going to do is from the base of this knuckle to the top of this knuckle is the same thing. Piggy, blanket, wrap that piggy in the blanket. Okay. Now when you look at me, okay, you should see the V right here pointing towards my right shoulder, and then this V is pointing probably towards my chin. Okay? So when you practice, okay, I want you to kind of get in the mirror a little bit, right, and check to see where your V's are at. Okay, make sure that it's not getting over here too much. We're definitely not too much over here, right? Does that make sense? Okay, let's do it again here, okay? All right, left hand. Place it diagonally in our fingers, right? Let's shoot the gun. Take our right hand, interlock, right? Thumb's just gonna be on the side of the shaft here, not down the center, but on the side, right? Piggy blanket, wrap that piggy in the blanket. There you go. Okay, and this thumb is going to be just ever so, yeah. So you're going to feel just a little pressure just on the inside part of that thumb. And that's going to help kind of brace it and stay on top of it. Okay. You don't want to have the thumb down the shaft. You just want to have it just off. Okay? Good, good. Okay, so for the next couple minutes here, I want you to kind of repeat that process for me, okay? All right, show me how you kind of do it. Like, how are we going to practice at home, right? Feel that?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Does that feel a little bit better?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. Okay, good. Let's do that again. Good. Feel that? Yeah, very good. Good work. Okay. One more time. Feel your hand. Feel your left hand get over. Yep. Think yourself like a motorcycle driver, right? Boom, boom. Okay. Good. Good. Yeah, good job, okay? Good job, okay? So that's what we need to kind of work on a little bit, okay? At home, I would love for you to do 15, 20 minutes a night with any kind of club or stick or something like that that you may have at the house, or maybe even just with your hands, okay? But we need to kind of get a little something in our hands and start working on that. Probably 15, 20 minutes a night, and I promise you within a week, 2 weeks, any other grip's gonna feel odd to you, except for this one. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Any questions about the grip?
So then you only, is there like a certain, like do you want to hold it at like the very edge, or do you want to leave a little bit of space, or like?
Great question, great question. So typically what we want to do for a full swing, okay, is that we're going to have basically the meat of our pad just at the base of this little line right here, okay? Now there are going to be times when we might want to choke down to kind of control more of the face and have a little less distance. Okay, so, but we don't ever really want to kind of grip it where our hands pass this point. Does that make sense? Okay, that's why you'll feel that there's a little bit of a tapered end. See how this is bigger than this end?
Yeah.
Okay, that's to accommodate for our fingers going here and letting that pad get over. So it has a really good grip. Okay, if it was anything else, it would just be the same length all the way through if we weren't trying to do that make sense? Okay, so right there is good. Okay, and then right there. That's usually about a typical full length grip right there. Okay, where you see that. Now there are, as I said, there are going to be times when you kind of choke down, and that's going to be an option for you. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, with that being said, let's kind of talk about our posture a little bit and what we want to kind of do there. Okay. So we're going to walk through this together. So stand right next to me, big guy. Okay. So we're going to put our feet together here. Okay. We're going to take the club. We're going to point it out front of us with our left hand. Okay. We're going to take our right hand. Okay. We're going to place it right there where our belt buckle would be. We're going to push our hips back ever so slightly. We'll feel a little tension in our hamstrings. I want us to kind of crack our knees just a little bit. Get that tension out. Now what I want to do is I want to take equal steps, about shoulder width apart. Okay. Now I'm going to take my right hand, place it back on my grip, like we do. Good. Now what I want to do is I want to bend from the waist, not bend from my knees. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. And then I just want the club to come down and hang down naturally. Perfect. Okay. Perfect. Okay. That's what we're looking for with this setup. Okay. Mm-hmm. So now you can see that your arms are hanging off your shoulders naturally. You have a little slight bend in your knees, not too much flex. Okay. And now, get you right there. Good. And now you have about a hand's width between the butt of your club and your thighs. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, stay in that setup for me, please. Good. So now you can see that without much work, your shoulders are pretty well square, right? Okay. So when you kind of jump in and you can get out of posture, but when you kind of jump into posture and stuff like this, we want to be aware where our shoulders and feet, knees and hips are, okay? And we want these all to be in the same line, okay? So when you get out there and play, it's important to kind of have our feet together and then build our stance around that. Does that make sense? I see a lot of people that kind of get in here and like, hey, I got the ball. They just start moving and dancing around a little bit, right?
Yeah.
So we want to start off center and go. Does that make sense? All right. So I'm going to have you stand right here for me. All right. And I want you to kind of talk me through the posture positions that we just did. Does that make sense? Okay. So we're going to. Okay. So we're going to hold it with our left hand out in front of us, right? There we go. Good.
And then take a, actually, and then like hinge.
So we'll do it again real quick. All right. So we're going to go on out here. We'll take the club out in our left hand. Take our right hand. Put it right here in our belt buckle. Yep, yep. And then we're going to push it back just a little bit. There we go. Till we feel a little tension in our hamstrings. Crack our knees just a little bit. Equal steps. Okay. Let's bring that right hand back on in. Okay. Now all we want to do is just let the club come back down to the ground naturally. Yeah. Good. Good. Okay. Probably give yourself just a little reach. There you go. Perfect. Okay. So that's what we're looking for at a basic setup right now. Okay. Does that make sense? Okay. Good. Good. Yep. That's magnetic. It'll get you. There you go. All right. So with that being said, any questions on the second part of our build?
No.
Okay. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Good. So let me kind of do this. I don't think we have any comparisons, but let me just kind of give you a look here, right? Who are some of your favorite players? Do you watch golf at all?
Yeah, that's why I'm doing, like, I mean, I never watched, and then my friend was watching the Masters, and then.
Okay,
I
great.
remember. So I like Bryson, honestly. That's like my favorite guy, I think.
Okay. We don't have him on camera, but I get you. He's pretty popular. All right, so let's just kind of take a look at Brooks, his arch nemesis. Let's go with that, all right? So you can see he's in a lot of good positions here. I don't know why he's halfway through, but we'll figure that out. Let's see who it is. Actually, we'll videotape one of you and then put it on display. Kind of let you kind of see what your setup is. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
Any questions? As I said. So we get kind of a look at what we're doing here. Where do you typically play at? Other than Topgolf, have you been to a real course yet?
No, I've been to like a range, but
Okay.
not real. I'm not. Once I like get my technique and everything, then I'll go play with them.
Good. What course do they typically play?
They're like, it's in like Coral Gables.
Oh,
There's a couple big ones. Like, there's one called Granada, and there's a couple of country clubs around there, so there's some pretty big ones.
All right, big guy. So why don't you just go ahead and kind of set up here, and then we're going to kind of talk about posture, but I just want you to kind of hit one here and kind of take a look. Does that sound good? Okay, kind of build on what we kind of did there a little bit, right? Grip, stance, posture, give me a swing, okay?
Should I do like the posture first and then do the grip after, or?
What I'm letting you kind of do it. I'm letting you kind of figure it out your own way here, okay? And then we'll kind of walk through it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Good. All right. How did our grip feel? Kind of weird, didn't it?
Yeah.
Good. Okay, it's new. All right, I'm not going to worry about that. It's not working right now, so I'm not going to worry about that. let's just kind of keep going and hit a few balls here, kind of working on our setup here. I want to let you go 1 or 2 more times, and then we'll kind of talk you through it. I just want to see what your retention level is, really. Good.
It's like the whole like moving your hips kind of thing is similar to like something I do in the gym, so that's why I kind of like got that thing
Okay.
down.
Okay. Yeah, so we just really want to kind of let that foot kind of come through a little bit, right? So set up for me real quick. Yeah. And then I'm going to have you kind of take a light swing for me. So as we come through here, I'm going to kind of help you out here. So as we come through here, let that go. Yeah, there you go. Okay, and then turn your hips. There you go. Feel how you're finishing firm on the left side right there?
Yeah.
That's how we want that foot to finish, okay?
Okay.
Let's try that again. Give you a feel for it. Right? Good. Feel a little hinge. Down and through. Good job. Okay? One more time, partner. Good. Down through. Okay? Good. You feel what we're doing with our lower body there?
Yeah.
Okay, good. I'll give you a couple more swings here. Kind of talk about ball position and posture a little bit for you. Much better. Did you hear a little click at the bottom there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. Much better. Much better movement pattern there. Good job. Okay, give me 1 second here. Whenever you're ready, big guy, do your movement. Doing good. It's all right. Let's take a look at this player versus this player, right? That's where we started, okay? Much bigger backswing now, right? Much better job with the knee, okay? Now, one thing I will tell you, as you come through here, allow your head to release, okay? I'm sure somebody or one of your friends told you to keep your eye on the ball.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's down the road, pal. Okay, don't listen to that guy. Okay, I'm sure he's probably the lowest handicap in the group, and he probably told you that. Okay, can't do that. Okay, so here, let's watch one of the big guys here. Let's go Heroes. Show him again. All right. See how his head starts to come out right there? That's going to allow your chest and everything to rotate through, okay? All right, so let me give you just a little basic swing because you're doing really good with the lower body part. So go again for me. Okay.
Join my front foot's still be 24. So it kind of feels awkward, I guess, when I come out.
Yeah, so we want to open that up about a quarter of a turn. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we want to have this foot perpendicular to our line, this one to be opened up just a little bit. Okay? So we're going to go through the swing slow. So just kind of go slow for me. Okay? Go ahead. Good, good, good. Come on through. 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 There you go. Good. Okay? Once again. Yeah. Okay? Is that a lot easier for you to turn through now? Okay, good. Let's try that again, okay? Because it's scary, right? When we kind of lose sight of the ball, right? Okay, so I get the angst about it, but we want it, once we get to impact and we're done, allow your head to release and come through, okay, partner? Good job. Good, that's fine. You're going to find the bottom of the ground soon enough, okay? But we need to get used to the movement patterns, okay? Great. Now I want you to kind of focus on really trying to hit that ground, hit down on it. There you go, better. Okay? Get those feet a little bit closer together. They're starting to get too wide. Okay? And that thing's starting to turn more of a quarter of a turn and into a half of a turn. Bring in the left foot just a little bit. No. Not width. You're doing good there. There you go. Okay? Good. 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 A lot more speed in that swing now, isn't there? Good. Good. Again. All right, see how you're starting to find the bottom a little bit now? Good. Give yourself time. Let that right knee go. Yeah, good swing. Good swing, buddy. How's it feeling for us?
Loosening now.
What's that?
Everything's like loosening up.
Good. It takes a little time, right?
Yeah.
We're finding new positions, doing new things, trying to get confidence. I get it. Let's just hit a few balls here, try to work on what we're working on, and see how we do. That's a lot better. Right? Good job. Keep it up.
So where should I place the ball? Like,
Right now, we'll place it right there in the center. Okay? How's that feeling for you, partner? Talk to me.
better.
Okay, good. Getting a better understanding?
Mm-hmm.
Good. Good. How much more speed is in the swing now? Right? When I hear you swinging through it, there's a lot more speed in there. Okay?
I just like loosen my grip up.
Right?
Kind of like a thing in tennis, I guess. Like your grip needs to be like obviously you don't hold it, but you got to be like loose enough. And now that I'm kind of getting it.
Yeah, absolutely. So remember, when we take our grip, I think you're absolutely on the right point right there, Neil, is that when I get the grip, I should be able to move my wrists very freely, right? I see a lot of people, if they get their grip in a bad spot, it just becomes very cumbersome, right?
Mm-hmm.
So remember, right, the golf swing just isn't this motion, right? There's this motion in the golf swing too, right? So that's why when we have loose wrists, we can get that club up and you can move it through, okay? Good, I love that. I love that you're getting that concept. Here we go. Good. Job. All right, so I'm going to kind of introduce a few little things here for you. Okay, I think you're doing great. Any questions right now?
No.
Anything I can answer for you?
Oh wait, so like when, because like I guess I watch some like golf like on YouTube. So it's like, how do you know when to use what? Or is that just like a it depends on person to person?
Well, one, it does depend on person to person, right? You know, the big thing for us right now is to get a movement pattern down for our swing, right? Next thing would be is what yardages do we hit our clubs, right? And that's going to be something either we utilize stuff like TrackMan here, or we go out to the range and we take a little notebook with us and we kind of figure it out. Or, you know, we just kind of go to the golf course and kind of play a little bit. But you'll start to get an understanding of what your numbers are. Typically with a 7-iron, I would say probably right now for you is anywhere from about 150 to about 160. And then I would probably take that in 10-yard increments back. So 8-iron's probably going to be about 130 to 140 for you, so on and so forth. Does that make sense?
What do the numbers mean?
Oh yeah, come on over here. Let's take a look. Okay. Right. So you start off with your driver, which is a 1-wood. Okay. Then you have what we call our 3-wood. Okay. But then you start to get to what we call hybrids. Right. So these are basically a longer iron that's kind of got a wood shape. Does that make sense? So it's very easy to get up and hit. So if you're having trouble with the longer irons, like let's say the 5-iron here, okay, that's a 5-iron, okay, and then let's go to the other extreme. This will be a pitching wedge. All right? Does that kind of make sense? So it goes basically, most bags go from 4 to pitching wedge. Pitching wedge being your lowest club. Okay, you'll have a 9, and then you have a pitching wedge. Why they just don't put 10 on there, I don't know. Ask the English. Okay, but what you're going to notice is that the lower the number of the club on there, the longer the length and the straighter the face. That is to give you longer distance. Okay, this is going to be shorter with a lot more loft because it's going to be much more like a howitzer where it's going to go up and come back down. This is going to be much more like a missile that goes out and away. Does that make sense a little bit?
Like for a bunker or something.
Bunker, short shot, you know, if I said, hey, you've got 100 yards, I would probably give you this club and go swing, right? And the loft is going to take care of the distance for you. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So, but as you kind of go through the bag here, right, you know, for practice purposes right now, I would say from the 7-iron down to work on that. They're easier clubs to work on without the most frustration. Does that make sense? As we're trying to learn. Now, once we start to get past that point, then we need to start getting into the higher irons and stuff like that. Okay. Any other questions, or does that kind of answer your question right there?
That makes sense.
Okay, yeah. So we just want to kind of have that, but as I said, for right now, we just want to kind of have the 7-iron, because, you know, eventually you're going to get fitted for it, hopefully, you know, get your own set of clubs, and that's what they fit around right there, so you have an idea right there. But really, our yardage right there, I would say probably for you, you're probably at about, you know, hitting it good. Let's see, let's kind of take a look right here and see. All right. So on that last one, okay, and I'll give you a couple numbers here. Last one, it carried 135, and it rolled out to 161. Okay, so basically, once we start getting your height and speed up a little bit, you're probably going to carry that 7-iron once you're in good shape, probably about 160. Okay, and then, you know, the fitter's going to kind of work you around that and kind of give you a couple other little things to kind of work around. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. All right, good guy. So I'm going to introduce one more thing. I think you're doing great. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to place this little tee in the ground right here. Okay, I want you to get the ball and the tee out. Does that make sense? Or do you want me to demonstrate for you?
I mean, so you want me to hit both, basically?
Yeah, absolutely. So I want to make sure that you're hitting down on the ball. Does that make sense? Because right now I see that your low point is behind the ball, not ahead of it. Does that make sense? Because we want to have that angle of attack down at it, right? Like hitting a, I don't know how you guys would hit that little chop lob or whatever, but kind of like that. You know what I mean? Okay, big guy. So give me kind of a little swing, you know, whatever swing you want here. But let's try to get that tee out of the ground to see what happens, okay? Good. Let's try again. Good swing right there, buddy. All right, so let me kind of help you out here just a little bit. So go ahead and set up for me. All right. Put this ball right here so you get a reference point. All right, bring that club on back for me again. Good. So we want to kind of have that feeling like the butt of the club is driving back down towards that ball, like this. Okay, now we got our angle of attack down. Boom. See how my hands are just ahead of impact? And then through. Okay? I'm going to let you have a couple more chances at that, and then we're going to get on to the impact back so you feel it, okay?
Okay.
Just trying to let you see how you do. Good job. There you go. All right? You completely changed your angle of attack. Okay, good job. Where'd you play tennis at?
I played Seven Oaks, Hunters Green,
Okay,
all those kind of places. There was an academy there
nice.
10 years ago.
Do you know a gentleman by the name of Brent Nye?
No.
Okay. He used to be a tennis guy. I don't know if he played. He plays over at that one over there on, God, what is it? The Tennis Academy here at Zephyr Hills.
There's a lot.
On Allen or something like that. Yeah, I
There's
bet.
a couple over there.
All right, big guys. So you're getting the concept of hitting down on it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let's try it again. You did really well on that one. Okay. Good job. You're starting to get a little bit of the angle of attack down, which is good. Right? But let me just kind of give you a feel here, and then we want to, let's talk about our setup real quick, okay? So you did really well with your feet here, okay, but I just want to kind of make sure you got it right. So want to keep our feet right here, perpendicular to our target line, and about a quarter of a turn out, okay? For right now with the 7-iron, we're going to place it maybe just in the center, maybe just slightly ahead, if so, but that's what we're going to practice with right now, okay, is the 7-iron, okay? Now let me kind of see that club real quick. Now, I'm going to jump on in there real quick on you, okay? Let me kind of show you how we're going to practice. So you stand right over there for me, okay? Now, we do want to kind of work on our grip, stance, posture, all that good stuff, right? But when I have a chance to get out, maybe hit some balls or do something, do you have a yard or anything, a hitting net or anything like that you might be able to practice in or anything like that at home?
No. I'm going to the range with, forgot his name, tomorrow though.
Okay.
So-
Kyle?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So really what I'd like for you to kind of do is just get like a little object that we kind of place in front of the ball here. And all I want you to kind of do for a little shots is just hit punch shots and try to get that out of the ground. Does that make sense? So it looks something like this, right? I'm just going to kind of hinge up, a little small swing, and I just want to punch it. Okay, does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and what I want to kind of focus on, okay, is getting the ball and the tee out of the ground, right? That's going to make sure, okay, that my angle of attack is down. Okay, that was way too much. It was 12 inches ahead. But once we start to compress that ball against the ground, you're going to start getting more and more distance. Does that make sense? Okay. So, with that being said, jump on over here, grab the club. Now I just want to kind of give you a feel what impact is, okay? So go ahead and set up for me. Good. Go ahead and place your club where you find the ball. Now you see how your hands are ahead of the ball?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's a good striking position. Okay, just kind of gets you an idea of what simulating what impact's going to be, right? So you can see that your hands are ahead, club square, knees and everything's starting to move this way. The hips are starting to turn out of the way. Chest is starting to rotate as well. Okay. So I just want you to get that feel. Now what I want you to do is just take some small swings into the bag and repeat that and get a feel for what we're talking about. Hard. You can hit it kind of hard. See how that face is open?
Yeah.
Try to keep it square. Right? Or at least put the toe into the back. Better. Okay? Feel what we're doing there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, one more time. Good. Okay, one more time. All right? Feel what you're doing down there at the bottom?
Mm-hmm.
Right? This really gives you the feeling of what impact's going to be, right?
Yeah.
Any questions, big guy? All right. I'll put that right there. I want you to just kind of imagine that impact badge right there, okay? We're going to hit that ball. Good. Neil, just give you kind of like a half swing or something like that. You're getting way too long and losing control of the club, okay? Just trying to go for contact right now. See how the grip's doing. How's it feeling?
It just shifts a little bit.
And that's just going to be practice. The more and more we can practice that, right, and get used to that feel. Okay? Good. Good. Give me two more, and let's do a little review of what we need to work on. Okay, buddy? A lot going on there. Okay, good. Set up real quick for me. Feel it here. So you kind of control the club you're on, okay? Feel what we're doing there?
Mm-hmm.
All right, there we go. Spin that club. So as we kind of go, it's here, driving it back down. Okay? Give me one more here, big guy. Give me one more. Good job. All right, let's talk about what we need to work on. How did that feel for you? Okay, did you get a good sense of what we're trying to do down there at the bottom?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. So let's kind of review over it here. I think the next guy's here, but we'll kind of go. All right, let's stand here next to each other. Okay. Grip. Okay. How do we do the grip? You ready?
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to take our grip, left hand. Okay, we're going to place it in our fingers. We're going to shoot the gun. All right. We'll take our right hand, interlock. All right. Place our fingers right along that line, as so. Here's our piggy, here's our blanket. Wrap that piggy in the blanket, okay? Let's put the club down. No, you're good. Just kind of keep your grip. Yeah, very good. Bring it on down. Good. So remember, when you get in the mirror, okay, you want to have this V pointing up towards your chin. You want this one pointing towards our right shoulder. Let me let this gentleman in. Come on in, Michael.
Hey,
How are you? Come on in, big guy. Okay. So go ahead, bring one down for me. Be with you in just a sec, big guy. All right. So remember, we want to feel it in your fingers, okay? And the other part is that we want to make sure that the meat of our pad gets over the top of our grip. Those are the two big things that we got to have for our grip right there, okay? Now, as far as our posture goes, let's kind of walk through our posture again, okay? So we're going to put our feet together. Okay? We're going to take the club, place it out in front of us. Right? Right? We're going to take our right hand, place it on our belt buckle, push our hips back. Feel a little tension in our hamstrings. We're going to crack our knees. Equal steps. Okay? Bring our right hand back on in, interlock. And now let's just let the arms kind of come down naturally. Okay? Now what we want to kind of feel is we want to feel like our chest is up and exposed. Okay, very good. Right? We've got good square shoulders right there. Okay? And our hands, okay, our arms aren't hanging off our shoulders naturally. Our hands are about a hand's width away from our waist. Okay? You don't want to get in here. You don't want to get way out here. Okay? So about the top of your hand is going to be underneath your chin. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, big thing for us, okay, is impact, okay? If you can get yourself like a little impact bag or something like that, I think that would help. And all we want to kind of do with this is just kind of get the club where we hinge it up to about here, about wrist high or waist high, and drive it through. Feel your right leg coming through, your chest turning and everything. Okay, so set up real quick for me. Give you kind of a practice feel for this. Okay, good setup. Okay, so I'll kind of help you out here. So you see how we're right here?
Mm-hmm.
Good. And now just kind of bring that club on into impact. Good. Okay, that's all we need to kind of work on right now. Okay, we don't need to get all the way up over here and all this. But if I can get you right here and start hitting, driving through the ball, then we can start getting the swing a little bit longer and longer. All right. Any questions? Anything I can answer for you, big guy?
No, everything makes sense.
Okay. So you're gonna go practice with Kyle tomorrow? Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Probably
So
like once or twice with him before I leave.
okay. Good. So just be mindful of your grip, your stance, and your posture. Okay. Get yourself a little impact bag. Get on into the impact bag. The big thing I would kind of work with for you while you're out there on the range, right, is I would just get a ball. Okay. Get yourself a tee, place it just in front, and hit those small little punch shots that I've talked about. That's all we need to do right now, okay? We'll start to get longer and longer as we go through. So you're heading on back to Miami in, 2 weeks or so?
Yeah.
Okay. Before you leave, let me know what area you're in, and I'll try to find a PGA professional for you down there so you can continue on. Okay? We've got kind of the basics here, okay? But the big thing is I need you to practice your grip at least 15 to 20 minutes a night for the next week at least. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
Everything else can kind of go out the window if we forget, but right now I need you to remember that grip. Does that make sense, big guy?
Yeah, perfect. I like it, yeah. Good, thank
Any
you.
questions?
No, that's everything I covered.
All right, my man. Have Coach give me a call, let me know if you're having any struggles or